We might ask ourselves the question of reconciliation and sacrifices and how they are connected. The gospel today gives us a very clear connection of what it comes to pray, what the purpose of reconciliation before praying, our offerings. A couple had lived together for 50 years and were once interviewed. They were asked whether they had ever thought about divorcing one another. They said, every day. Then the interviewer asked them, then what keeps you together? And then with a smile they said, we have learned to forgive one another. I'm sure this is the same thing that happens to many of us. And if you ask the same question, we'll answer the same way. What makes a home, we shall say, is not the building, but the people who live in them. It is the joy that we cherish with one another that keeps us. Not because we are perfect, but because we have learned to reconcile with one another. In our day's reading, as we celebrate the feast of St. Barnabas, the Apostle, we realize few elements that are distinct to our Christian family life. Indeed, the gospel underlines the importance of reconciliation before anything. Jesus continues his teaching to disciples, and at this point, he hits on the purpose of true Christian witness that surpasses mere practices and physical rituals, but that which connects the individual with one another and in search with God. Jesus is reminding us that it is not about memorizing the law or just mere practice of it in a very shallow way, but the grace lies in deeper charity of love, forgiveness, reconciliation, compassionate tolerance of each other. Jesus warns us the harm of offering sacrifices while bound with unforgiveness. He warns us of the harm of praying with the fixed hatred. He tells us this cannot give us any grace. In fact, he says, extreme rely on such hatreds that leads to rebuking one another without charitable words or correction, or without seeking reconciliation, will make our offering and sacrifices meaningless. Jesus needs more of internal conversion of heart, becoming humble enough to realize that we too have failed, and so we need to forgive others. Whenever we forgive, whenever we come before God, we seek reconciliation with Him. And many of our sacrifices and prayers are for seeking spiritual, material, mental, physical, and even economic well-being. We seek good things from God. However, Jesus reminds us we should not hold our brothers or sisters in hatred or unforgiveness. And forgiveness, according to Jesus, it ties our prayers, and forgiveness stops God's blessing from reaching us. A lack of reconciliation breaks relationships, families, and partnerships. St. Barnabas, whose name means son of encouragement, is a good example why reconciliation is important. He himself brought Paul to the disciples and actually defended Paul among the disciples. He reconciled Paul to the apostles. When we reconcile with one another, we encourage them to realize they are lovable. When we forgive one another, we let God share in our lives. We pray for the grace through the intercession of St. Barnabas that we can be reconcilers with each other, especially in our families. We pray for encouragement we need too, that they may not falter on the path of following Jesus. We pray for our homes to become places of joy, love, forgiveness, and kindness.